Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss how those who wish to turn Northern Ireland into a Brexit firestorm are once again threatening to plunge it into chaos by reneging yet again on the Northern Ireland Protocol. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So last year we had Boris Johnson's threat to simply cancel bits of the withdrawal agreement that he didn't like, in a limited way, which would of course have instigated a breach of the Good Friday Agreement. Then he caved in. Now, I do not know if he changed his mind because Biden won the US presidency or because he'd always planned to cave in and he just used it for a few months to keep the Brexit nutters in his party quiet for a bit. The point is that for whatever reason, he didn't actually go through with it. Then last month, the Brexit nutters in his party piped up again. They pretended to care about Northern Ireland by pointing out the damage that Brexit was causing, but laying the blame at the feet of the Northern Ireland Protocol as opposed to the Brexit that they instigated. Boris Johnson implied yet again that he might be willing to trigger Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol to basically ignore it completely. This was, of course, a non-starter. I just read it as yet again trying to shut up the nutters for a bit. Remember, Boris Johnson doesn't do long-term planning. If you think to yourself, yeah, but Phil, that's only going to last for so long. He doesn't think long-term. He thinks of getting through to the end of the day and worrying about what he said later on. I would never put it past him to just say a thing, even if it's not actually going to work for long. Then the EU signalled their intention to try and use Article 16 for other purposes. They U-turned on that almost immediately. Commission President von der Leyen apologised for even considering using it. Michael Gove said it was totally unacceptable to try and use Article 16 like this. Then I saw someone expressing the view that they hoped that if anything was going to come of the furore that surrounded that about a week ago, it would be that everyone would see Article 16 was not to be messed around with. The Northern Ireland Protocol was what it was, and let's treat it seriously. I wasn't so sure. And now, sure enough, just a few days later, Boris Johnson and Michael Gove have been increasingly talking up the idea of using Article 16 themselves. Yes, you heard that right. Senior British ministers were absolutely outraged that the EU might even consider using Article 16, an absolute disgrace to try and use Article 16 to solve your political problems. And what are they going to do? Try and use Article 16 to solve their political problems. Classic Brexiteer hypocrisy. Naturally, it cannot be used to do what they want it to do. All the legal experts agree on this. It doesn't do what they may be trying to tell members of the public or their Brexit nutters what it can do. No need for me to cover again why this is, because nothing has changed since I did the original video last month. The problem is that the political pressure from the nutters is almost at fever pitch. Brexit is hitting Northern Ireland hard. No denying that. And it's getting worse. No denying that either. It was always going to be like this, and the Brexiteers who actually understood Brexit, which is not actually all that many of them, but the ones that did, always knew that when we got to this point, they were going to have to blame something else. So, it's not Brexit, even though it happened exactly at the same time as Brexit. It's just this part of Brexit that's the problem. It's the part of Brexit that we didn't really want. It's the part of Brexit that the evil EU made us have. And there are those in both the Conservative Party and the DUP who always wanted Brexit to be delivered and then to wipe out the legal mechanisms that gave it both national and international support, the Northern Ireland Protocol in this case. And the DUP have threatened to block anything in Stormont. Arlene Foster has been saying, if any business comes to Stormont that basically is a way of implementing the Northern Ireland Protocol, she'll just block it. Now, whether she's got the power to block everything like that, I don't know, but she certainly has the power to be extremely difficult on it. And she has urged Boris Johnson to do likewise in Westminster. Now, Michael Gove, who's been a little bit more subtle than either Arlene Foster or Boris Johnson, talked about the need to find a solution to the problems going on in Northern Ireland. But as an eagle-eyed commentator noted, Tony Connolly of RTE News, Michael Gove has been, when he's been setting out what he sees as the problem, has been using the language contained in Article 16. So in Article 16, it talks about when it should be used, and he's using the same words as if, oh, look, we've got this problem. Oh, you say that, you know, Article 16 is for dealing with such a problem. How interesting, how interesting. Clearly laying the groundwork for justifying the use of the article to, as I said earlier, cancel the entire set of provisions. And all this rhetoric is being ramped up alongside the tensions that have led to threats being thrown about. And this is a time when obviously politicians should not be feeding misinformation, especially when it will be seized by those of a violent disposition. But neither the DUP nor the current crop of Conservatives give a toss about the damage they cause. It's like there's no risk-reward calculation with them. They look at what they want. That's it. They just look at the reward. They don't consider the cost. And I think this is because they never pay the price. This is the problem again with just having privileged, entitled people run government. You know, they never pick up the tab for what they get what they want, but we're the ones who pay the price. You know, they would set fire to the whole world for a packet of peanuts because it's some other bugger's job to put the fire out. And Gove has been threatening the EU. Boris Johnson has insisted that the EU change some aspect of trade between Britain and Northern Ireland. So, oh, you need to change the way, you know, you're handling trade between Britain and Northern Ireland. And I'm thinking, hang on, what? Unfortunately, the general media are failing to point out that what he's saying here is Boris Johnson, who spent most of last year even refusing to let EU monitors, who weren't involved in a process of checks, they were just going to monitor the situation. He wasn't even letting them have an office in Belfast. Now he wants them to manage trading operations within the UK. He's actually saying he wants the EU to interfere in trading arrangements between Britain and Northern Ireland, two parts of the UK that he's supposed to be governing. I mean, I know he's lazy. And I also know that the Conservatives like contracting jobs out. But a Brexit government asking the EU to take over the running of the country is something I did not put on my 2021 bingo card. Of course, that's not really what he's intended. He's just absolving himself of responsibility as always. This is a problem. We have a problem with trade between one part of the UK and another part of the UK. I can't be arsed with it, so I'll just claim it's someone else's problem. Then if the problem doesn't go away, I'll just say it was their fault. But the issue with that is, for all the rhetoric, there are a few political realities that Brexiteers should take note of. One, President Biden now will not be impressed with reneging on the Northern Ireland Protocol. He has invited the Irish PM to a one-to-one meeting. He has extended no such invitation to our PM. Sure, he'll be meeting him, sort of, this summer, but that's a meeting of G7 leaders that was scheduled before he became president. Secondly, the EU Parliament have still not ratified the Brexit deal. The Trade and Security Cooperation Agreement, it's been ratified by us, sort of, but not by the EU. So it's not actually a formal international treaty yet. They could decide to say, no, we're not happy with this. And they're not being quick about ratifying it either. It's going to take a few more months. The UK, you know, if they look like abandoning one treaty with them, it's the same. It's like Groundhog Day. Just like last year. You know, they were already saying, what is the point in us concluding an agreement, a trade and cooperation agreement, if you're not even going to comply with the treaty you signed with us at the start of the year? It's the same thing here. They'll look at the situation and go, well, if you're going to just go and even threaten to drop the withdrawal agreement, why would we ratify this agreement? And the third thing is the EU are also doing us a few favours. It may not seem like it. The trade barriers in place. The trade barriers in place are not as complete as they will be at some point. They are doing us some favours with grace periods on certain aspects of trade, data sharing, and so on. They don't have to. They are. And some of those grace periods are ending soon. Basically, it's like the free lollipop for being good at the dentist, which is a fairly self-defeating act, but there you are. Essentially, whatever the reason that Boris Johnson backed down on reneging on the Northern Ireland Protocol in a limited and specific way, of course, last year, is still in place. I don't know what they think has changed. Nothing has changed. Gove said that the EU Commission's flirtation with Article 16 last week changed everything. Now, if it changed anything at all, it was that it made it very, very clear to everyone that monkeying about with Article 16 could have devastating consequences in Northern Ireland. Michael Gove and Boris Johnson were both very clear on that point. So why would Gove and Johnson then be saying that they're going to use it to help Northern Ireland? Oh, the EU are going to use this thing. It will cause devastation to Ireland. Oh, we're going to use this thing to help Northern Ireland. What? Is this more rhetoric to shut the nutters up? Of course, just to finish off, we could also look at this as a potential positive later on, as rejoiners that is, because the situation is as follows. Michael Gove is demanding that certain grace periods be extended. Now, the EU may wonder, what has he got to demand anything? But of course, if they extend certain grace periods in return for things, Brexit is going badly wrong at the moment. Not just in Northern Ireland either, but of course that's where the issues are the most acute. The government have to do something. They can't just roll along like this because it's just getting worse and worse. The only thing that eases the problem is closer alignment with the EU. The only thing that solves the problem is full alignment with the EU. And finally, the only way that the government can make headway is to align more closely with the EU and somehow pretend they've done the opposite. Now, of course, that won't be hard unless the media decide they don't like it. So could this be the beginning towards, ironically, rejoining the single market without even having to wait for a general election to kick out the Conservatives? That'd be interesting to see. But those are my thoughts anyway. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. If you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.